Guy A. Hey man, do you know what time it is? Guy B. Time to get a what? Guy A. No, actually, it's time for the That Harway Guy podcast. Thought I'd try something a little silly for the podcast intro this week, but welcome to the That Harway Guy podcast for real. I am Ricky Harway, talent agent, life coach, motivational speaker. We're doing a bit of a catch-up episode on the pod this week. I got a match coming up this weekend I want to talk about. I got a match I had last weekend I want to talk about. And I got a couple of movies that I've seen recently. I think we ought to do a little bit of a movie catch-up review episode. But first I have to address what was done to me at battleclub in Washington Heights this last weekend. battleclub does a show at a block party in partnership with the NYC DOT. Pretty cool, right? I get in the ring for my match, Fatal 4-Way, and there's this guy sleeping in the middle of the ring. I think, oh god, it's one of the homeless people of the neighborhood here. But no, it turns out he's a wrestler. His name is Sleepy Ed. We go through the match. End of it, he winds up spitting NyQuil in my face? What? And because I have NyQuil in my face, I pass out on the mat. I fall asleep. How is that allowed, ref? How is that legal, Battle Club? What the hell kind of show are you running? Every time I get into some nonsense, rules are being broken, things are going crazy. It always seems like it's at Battle Club. So I roll out of the ring, asleep. Next thing you know, I wake up, I'm still in the match. In my dream, I'm still in the match. I wake up swinging my arms around, and I look at it, and it turns out the match is over already. I'm asleep the whole time. That is not right. How does that happen? Let us, however, put an eye on the future. This Saturday, August 9th, Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling presents Let Loose from the Slatington Expo Center, and Ricky Harway is going to team up with Troy Tresdin once again. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of inside baseball with this tag team thing me and Troy have going on. We weren't even really planning on being a team at first. We got put together, we got an opportunity, we said let's roll with it. We got matching gear, and by we I mean I got a matching tracksuit. I throw up his tee with him, I do all his shtick with him. We're having fun. There's some potential to this team, we realize early on, right? But something's just not clicking. He likes to do things his way, little goody two-shoes. I like to do things my way, put a little Harway twist on it. And we're having a little bit of trouble finding our footing as a team because of that, I think. And I think this weekend, we are making our tag team, our 2-on-2 debut. This isn't a scramble, this isn't a gauntlet, it's 2-on-2. And I think we're going to have to find our united front if we want to really do this thing and find success in this tag team division. We are going to have to meet each other somewhere in the middle. We're going to have to land somewhere, and I think this is the time to do it. All right, let's talk about Minecraft. I was really excited for this movie. Not in the same way that one would be excited for, say, the latest Robert Eggers epic hitting theaters this summer, or for the latest HBO prestige crime thriller coming to HBO Max that's going to change television forever. I was not expecting the Minecraft movie to be capital C cinema. That's not why I was excited. I was excited because this is a game that I have fond memories of, both playing solo and playing with friends. This is a potentially funny, silly, so bad it's good, let's laugh at this kind of movie that maybe has some references and fan service for Minecraft fans and players. And I wouldn't say I'm so much a fan, but I'm definitely a player. I've played quite a bit of it. And I didn't get any of that. I got an affront to God, is what this movie is. I was offended. I was personally offended at this movie. Oh my gosh. Even if I was a kid, I can imagine being like a 6-year-old seeing this, and I still don't think it would be very good at all. Because I hate that argument. That argument of when something isn't good, and you complain about it, and someone says, oh, well, it's for kids. Kids deserve good stuff, too. Kids deserve quality humor. Kids deserve storylines they can connect to and feel moved by. You know, not to be one of the, oh, well, back in my day kind of people, but there was good kids movies, and it was not an excuse. There was good kids television. That's not an excuse for something to be bad and not funny, and that's exactly what this was. And there wasn't even really much fan service. There wasn't even, like, as a Minecraft fan, stuff that's going to make you go, oh, cool. There's some obvious stuff. This isn't going to be spoilery, by the way. There's some obvious, there's some redstone doors, and there's, for example, Jack Black has, like, the chicken cooker, or, like, the village has the chicken cooker where they have the lava drop onto the chicken kind of, like, there's some fun stuff like that. So maybe I'm not totally telling the truth about, maybe there is a good amount of fan service, but there's nothing that feels like it is in the spirit of the game. There's some references, maybe, there's some cool stuff like that, but there is nothing that feels like the spirit of what Minecraft, the game, feels like. What this was, okay, actually, let me tell you, what Minecraft is to me, when you start up a new Minecraft world, there is infinite possibility, right? Some Minecraft worlds you start up and they get abandoned rather quickly. Some Minecraft worlds you start up and they become blossoming meccas to your creativity. Some Minecraft worlds become collaborative hubs where you and your friends get on and you can play together and make memories together. You never know what's going to happen when you start a Minecraft world. And those first couple of minutes, which always consist of chopping down the wood and making basic tools, gathering cobblestone, building your dirt house, whatever, they're as tedious as it is to have that, always be how it starts. It's also a very hopeful time because you have no idea what comes after, and that possibility is beautiful. And there's a bit of a focus on creativity in this movie in a very surface level way. Kind of the theme is being creative and letting your creativity free and stuff, but it's so surface level, barely there, not tapping into really any of the depth of it at all, and don't even. I already argued with you. If you're gonna say, oh well, it's a kids movie, why are you expecting depth? Kids deserve depth in their content, in their films, in their entertainment. Kids deserve depth. Kids deserve good storytelling. And this was just so out of the spirit of what Minecraft is all about. I am surprised that this movie was made, and the people who made and worked on Minecraft so passionately didn't, nip this in the bud as soon as it started to become more of, a Jack Black and Jason Momoa poorly done sketch comedy that's not funny fest. What an absolute disappointment. And it's tricky because when I really try to picture it, I can't really think of what the good version of this would have been. I think as soon as Jack Black is cast, we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot to begin with making a Minecraft movie that is faithful to the feeling and spirit of possibility, creation, and infinity that the game has. As soon as we have Jack Black in that, it's kind of like, all right, we're going to make a funny, haha, he's fat and fart jokes kind of movie. And I'm not saying that's all Jack Black is as a comedian, but in a kid's movie, that's what that's just what it's going to be. There's the subplot with Jennifer Coolidge and her dating a villager that happens to not escape. He goes through the portal from the Minecraft world to the real world, and this villager goes on a date or two with Jennifer Coolidge, and that's fun just because Jennifer Coolidge is probably one of the funniest people on the planet. But other than that, there's really nothing here. Nothing at all. Not a single funny joke. Not a single, even a joke so funny as to warrant a little exhale through the nose. Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. Everyone who worked on this should be ashamed. I'm sorry. And I'm glad people had jobs, and I'm glad this probably fed some families and stuff. And you know what? I'm glad the kids had fun with it. I'm glad that kids went to theaters and had a bit of a rowdy time. Now, if I went to a theater and there were kids having a rowdy time while I was trying to enjoy a movie, would I be a little annoyed? Yeah. But also, this is the Minecraft movie. You know what I mean? This is not, it's fine. I don't know. Let the kids have their fun. Here's another rant I'll get into. I am sick and tired of movies, and now that I'm thinking about it, these movies have mostly been based on video games. If you're going to make a video game movie, I want to start in the world of the game, where the rules of the game world and this alternate world are there from the beginning. They are not spoon-fed to us, and we kind of learn them as we go because we, as an audience, are being trusted. I'm going to give you an example. The Mario movie that came out a couple of years ago. Not the good one from the 90s, haha, but the animated one that came out, a year or two ago. What I wanted that movie to be was for that movie to start in the Mushroom Kingdom. We're already there. We don't have to start in the real world and there's some wacky, whoa, I'm being sucked through a portal and now I'm in this wacky other place where there's mushrooms. Or the Sonic movie, for example. Sonic is an alien that gets transported to Earth somehow, and he's this fish out of water on Earth. Nope. I want to start, we're in Green Hill Zone, and there's animals that talk, and there's big loop-de-loops in the mountains, and we're just in this world already. Let's just jump in. And Minecraft was very difficult to, very guilty rather of that. It it starts off with Jack Black as a kid in the real world. He winds up getting sucked into the Minecraft portal, and then these four or a couple other humans get sucked into the Minecraft portal, and now they're in the Minecraft world. And whoa, why is everything blocks and everything is so? Why do the animals look like that? I want these kinds of movies to start in the world. I want this to start in the Minecraft overworld. Everything is blocks, everything is square, everything is what it is, and we're not asking questions about it because we are going to just live in this world and the audience will pick up the relevant rules to the plot, the relevant logic of this world as we go. I don't know if that rant made any sense, but I am sick and tired of having exposition overly explain the rules of this game and this fictional world rather than us just being in it and let's get acclimated. I think maybe this is a good time to segue. Actually, no, I have more to say about Minecraft. I'll save that segue for later. As far as how stuff looked, I thought stuff looked kind of cool. I thought the world looked okay. There was one moment that was like a 2D side-scroller moment that was kind of cool. I thought the animals looked okay. The villagers even looked okay. Like, if you're going to do like a weird live-action thing of this where there's kind of a photorealistic, weird quality, uncanny valley kind of nature to this stuff, I guess it looked the best that it could. The segue was going to be, I think, a movie that did a great job of this, of kind of just dropping us into the world and we'll figure out the rules, trust us, and trust in yourself to show them to us without these exposition-y, fish out of water dumps, is Superman, the new James Gunn Superman. And now I'm going to talk about that for a little bit. I liked this one a lot. I'm not fully ready to say I loved it yet. I've seen it twice, and I liked it a lot the second time, liked it even more, liked it a lot the first time, rather, liked it even more the second time is what I meant to say. So there's a chance that maybe, I'll sit on it for a little bit, watch it again, and I'll be able to say love. But for now, I really liked Superman, and I think it did a great job of just taking us, the viewer, putting us into this world, giving us maybe a little bit of like, all right, Superman was an alien and blah, 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 and let us figure it out as we go. And tell us, give us the rules as we go in like a show don't tell kind of way. Trust in yourself to be able to demonstrate them clearly, and trust in us, your audience, to be able to pick it up. In Superman, we're just kind of dropped into the middle of a comic book. We're dropped into the middle of a comic, we're in issue number 30. We're dropped into issue 30, and they have faith that what happened in the first 29 will be made clear by what's happening in 30, if that makes sense. There's interdimensional imps flying about, and there's already kind of an established superhero team, and there's this corporate guy, and then Superman's got these parents, and we figure it all out. I actually went with a friend group the first time I saw it, one of whom has never read a Superman comic, never seen a Superman TV show, doesn't know the first thing about Superman besides that he's, he wears the blue spandex and the red underwear, and he's got a cape and he flies around and he's really strong. And they came out of that movie being like, oh, so he was this alien, he came to the planet, blah, blah, like, got the whole, you know what I mean, without it being shown, really. Like, we just figured it out. We're in the world, and I appreciated that. Loved David Cornsweet as Superman. Awesome casting. I know there's been a couple people that seem to not really buy him too much, which I have no idea where and how that comes from. I thought he was perfect mix of earnest and strong and gentle and kind, but firm and unwavering, not naive, but innocent, and just a wonderful portrayal, wonderful character, really great stuff. I also liked Lois Lane as well. So fiery and plucky and just a great character. Their chemistry was outstanding. The interview scene where Lois Lane interviews Clark Kent as Superman is a real standout scene. Really fantastic stuff. Awesome action. I like that there's a little bit of a comic booky quality to it in the way of, like, things are explained as needed, but they're not over-explained. And it's kind of like, yeah, the engineer's got nanites in her body and she could do whatever she wants. Cool. Got it. Or, yeah, this guy Ultraman, I found one of Superman's hairs and I cloned him and now he does what I say. Cool. We don't need more than that. Great. Awesome. Comic booky, cool stuff. Really, really liked it. I know that I've heard some people compare this to some of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and I don't disagree. I disagree a little bit in terms of it's got a 2025 humor coat of paint on it, but I agree in terms of the earnestness is there, the warmth is there, the authenticity is there, the positivity is there, the hope is there, and the fact that you leave the theater or your living room couch, wherever you watched it, inspired to be better, is all there in comparison to those movies, to the Raimi Spider-Mans. Such good stuff. I could really go on about this. There's some stuff I wish was maybe a little there more. I would have liked to have seen more of Superman and Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen and their relationship. I've heard from folks that are really into Superman that Jimmy Olsen is apparently one of Clark Kent's best friends, and we got some of that, but I would like to see more. I would have liked to have seen more. And I'm thinking about it, and all the things that I want to see more of are probably things that we will see more of in future movies, and this just kind of whet my appetite, and it's a good thing to leave the theater wanting more. And with that being one of your major complaints, if you want to even call them complaints, is that I just this is cool stuff, and I want to see more of it. I could have done, I will say, with like 15% less of the humor. I'm very aware of James Gunn's style and the humor, kind of his signature style of humor that he does, and the kind of, hey asshole humor. And I like it, and I'm cool with it, but it was just the tiniest bit overdone here. I could have done without like Lois Lane and Mr. Terrific waiting for the slow garage door to open up. I could have done without Mr. Terrific telling Superman to quit messing around, then Superman goes, I'm doing important stuff. Like, I don't know, there's some of the Gunn humor that I could do without. And again, not even that much more without. Not even that, I don't even need that much less of it in order to be happy. Just turn it down a little bit, turn the knob down a little bit, and I'm happy. Mr. Terrific was a real standout surprise character for me too. I'd never heard of him before. Loved his powers, loved the orbs flying around and kind of doing what they were doing. And that's another great example. Mr. Terrific and the whole Justice Gang. You're not spoon-fed kind of, well, Green Lantern is Guy Gardner and he took a vow and he's from the Lantern Corps and here's all of the information and lore about that. No. Okay, he's something called a Green Lantern. There's several Green Lanterns. He took some kind of vow, and he's got these cool conjure whatever he wants to conjure with his big energy light powers. Mr. Terrific. He's really smart. He's got these orbs that fly around him and seem to be able to do a bunch of stuff. Cool. Actually, something funny about Mr. Terrific is that when you first see the Justice Gang in the movie, they fly into battle. You see them coming from the sky, and Mr. Terrific is sitting in his sort of hover chair device. It's not really a chair, but it's kind of aperture attached to his body that lets him sit while he's flying, it kind of looks like. And when I first saw him, I thought he was a disabled, wheelchair-bound superhero. And I thought to myself, cool, why the hell not? And he's flying around doing all his badass stuff with the spheres, fighting this kaiju. And I'm thinking, wow, this is really cool. This is something I've never seen before. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying I've never seen it. A superhero in a wheelchair. I guess there's Professor X from the X-Men, but he's more of a kind of, he hangs back at the mansion and has his telepathic link with the X-Men and kind of commands them on the field kind of a thing. But I'm talking about like a soldier, like a front lines battlefield. I am in a wheelchair superhero. And I saw Mr. Terrific flying around and I was like, that is dope. That is very, very cool. And then he lands on the ground and just kind of starts walking. And I was like, oh, I guess I totally misread what that was. But still very cool. Still very cool with Hawkgirl. Very cool that Hawkgirl kills the evil president. Very cool that such a strong stance is taken with the Guy Gardner Green Lantern doing middle fingers to the tanks that are invading a brown country and pulling guns on kids. Very cool that I could see like a less ballsy movie. Just like still having that parallel to real life maybe, but not really like, well, both sides are kind of blah, 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 blah. But this was cool. Nope, middle fingers to you guys because you're fucking evil. And that was very cool to see. It was a very bold stance, which I really appreciated, alongside Hawkgirl killing President Gurkos. Okay, here's my feeling about Nicholas Hoult. I haven't seen him in a lot, but every time I have seen him, I find him, I'm sorry, terribly bland and uninteresting as an actor. I think he's a great actor. I think he's absolutely a capital A actor. You know the difference. You know what I mean. I can recognize that he's very good, but he just has never done it for me. I've always found him just very vanilla. I've never really fully bought into the characters that he plays. I always just kind of see Nicholas Hoult. I liked his Lex Luthor quite a bit. It's definitely the most I've ever enjoyed Nicholas Hoult. But I'm still not totally sold. I'm way closer to being sold than I was before, but there's still, I don't know. I think he was a great choice for the part. I think he did a great job. I'm not saying this hampered my enjoyment at all. I think just personal taste-wise, I'm not a huge Nicholas Hoult fan. But I do think he did a great job in this. I really like the monologue that he gives about Einstein and Galileo and how his insecurity is a good thing and his jealousy. It was really good stuff. I'm having trouble conjuring to mind exactly what he said right now. It's 1:30 in the morning as I record this, but just great stuff. Great villain stuff. I was hoping for a little more of kind of like a meltdown moment akin to High Evolutionary from Guardians 3 to compare it to another James Gunn villain. I was hoping for a little bit more of kind of like this guy has fully snapped and is delivering this horrendously evil villain monologue reflecting his principles and beliefs kind of thing. And we kind of got that, but I would have liked to have seen it go a step further. And I understand that Lex Luthor is a pretty mainstay Superman character, and if there's more of these, which it seems like there will be, chances are he'll be in them. So maybe there's time for that. I had a great time watching this. I had a really good time watching this. It's paced so well. It moves very quick, but also like you don't feel rushed. I could go on about this for quite a long time, but I'm going to transition into the third movie and final movie that I wish to discuss on today's episode of the podcast, and that is Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, did I have a... Okay. I feel like I watched a different movie than everybody else did, it seems like. I really did not enjoy Fantastic Four First Steps. I did not. I'm sorry to say it. I wanted to. I went in with an open mind and a willingness to enjoy, high expectations. Maybe that's the problem, the high expectations. And it totally just fell flat for me. I felt no sense of urgency, despite the gigantic stakes on the line in this movie. I felt no sense of urgency, no intensity, no immediacy. I think the actors generally did a pretty good job. I think mostly Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby really stood out to me as being pretty fantastic. No pun, or maybe, screw it, pun intended. I really liked them, Pedro especially. I know a lot of people weren't too sure about that casting. And would he have been my first choice? Probably not. But I think he does a really good job and gives a really clear picture of this character and his inner world. Yeah, absolutely yeah. And I think you could totally see the weight of the world on his shoulders, and also kind of on Vanessa Kirby's shoulders as the glue of the family and as a mother-to-be, and facing this intergalactic threat that is threatening her motherhood. Yeah, her motherhood. Good stuff. Liked them. I wanted a little more maybe out of Torch and the Thing. I think a little more screen time. I know little Human Torch got his little side plot with Shalabal and everything. I thought she was cool. I don't care about a female Silver Surfer. Not in like the woke way. I care in the way that like I think it was a good adjustment, if anything, because it allowed her to have her side plot with Johnny and to kind of connect with Sue in the way that she was also a mother, and there's that parallel that can be drawn. So if anything, I care because I think it was a good call. I think it was a good thing. But I don't care in like the MCU woke nonsense right-wing grifter kind of way. But yeah, she was cool. I think it was I think it sucked that we got like that one scene shoved in there about her backstory. And I think it was good that it was there, that there was a scene like that, but it felt totally like, all right, well, we need to throw this scene in here now in order for the thing that happens later to make sense. Didn't feel good. I don't think the effects were good in this either. I think Galactus looked like a PS3 cutscene. I think the Human Torch looked terrible, flamed on. It looked like they filmed Joseph Quinn, slapped a red Instagram filter on him, and then put stock fire photo, moving fire effects on him. Not good at all. Reed's stretchy powers looked okay. The Thing looked okay sometimes, but like in general, he looked very uncanny valley, and people are really, really throwing a lot of praise on all these effects, especially The Thing. And I'm thinking, this is where I start to feel like I saw a different movie, and this is where I start to feel maybe I'm just kind of over Marvel right now. I to be honest with you, I enjoyed the 2000s Fantastic Fours more than this, and maybe that's just my childhood goggles, whatever, childhood nostalgia glasses talking. But those had good characterizations, good relationships between all of the Fantastic Four. Campiness and cheesiness that this one didn't have. It kind of had, but not really. The relationships were okay. The character dynamics were actually kind of solid in this, but it just felt like it was missing a spine, I think is what this movie didn't have to me. And I wanted to like it. I actually did like it for a good bit, too. I thought the opening was pretty good. We got in a similar way to Superman. We got kind of a, last time on Fantastic Four at the beginning that gets you caught up on their origin story, so we don't have to do that. I almost wish the movie was the first 20 minutes where they're fighting all these villains and stuff. Because there's not a lot of action in this, which is not inherently a bad thing. I don't think these superhero movies need to necessarily have action. But part of what's cool to me about the Fantastic Four, and again, I'm not a comic reader. I'm not a super nerd about this stuff. But part of what I've enjoyed about some of the Fantastic Four stuff I've seen is seeing them all work together on the battlefield to solve problems. And I didn't really feel there was as much of that as I would have wanted. I would have liked to have seen them fought Mole Man and whatever other dragon thing they fought. I forget, Dragon Man, was that it? Whoever they fought in kind of the opening montage of exposition. And there was the spaceship chase scene was pretty cool, where Sue's giving birth and Johnny's trying to fire on Shala Ball as she approaches them. There was some cool stuff and cool moments, but ultimately, man, it really just fell flat for me in a major, major way. And I don't know how much more I could say without being a total hater, and so I won't. I think the post-credit scene, the mid-credit scene, and again, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think it was a little, I don't know, it felt a little setup-y, obviously, and then the post-credit scene, post-credits was cute. It really just didn't do it for me and did not make me excited. I liked Thunderbolts way more than this. Thunderbolts, I'm not going to talk about it fully in detail, but that's another movie that I saw this year that I really liked. I liked that a lot more actually than this. It really just didn't do it for me at all. I don't not see it. There's some cute stuff in it, and everyone seems to like it. Maybe I'm just losing my mind here. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say on the movies. And I think the movies was all I had to say this podcast episode. So I think I'm done. I think the That Harway Guy podcast is over now. The reason that there was such a long delay, just some housekeeping stuff, between the last episode and this one is because I didn't feel like doing it. And I think that's the beauty of having this podcast being uploaded to YouTube, is that I can just upload it as often, as infrequently as I feel like. They could be 30 minutes long, like this one's probably going to be. They could be 10 minutes long if I don't have much to say. And if I'm feeling particularly yappy that week, I could make a 2.5 hour long, I'll make a 5 hour long podcast. Try me. I probably won't ever do that. But I could if I wanted to. I have the freedom to, as an American and as a man. And I don't know. I think I'm done. Thank you very much for tuning into the That Harway Guy podcast. Make sure to follow me on whatever Instagram or TikTok you use. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. I'm thinking of making a Blue Sky too, and I'm not on it yet. Don't friend me on Facebook if you don't know me for real, if we haven't met. Maybe I should make a public fan page or something. I get friend requests on Facebook from people I don't know, but I have a bunch of mutual friends with, but that I've never seen in my life. And I'm not answering those. Shoot me a message if you want a consultation, if you want any of my services. I offer a whole bunch. The big three are talent agenting, life coaching, and motivational speaking. Those are the big three that I advertise. But really, I could do whatever you need, and I could get you whatever. Let me not say that. The That Harway Guy podcast, episode 3, forever. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.